This is Unit 2, Lesson 4, Translating Words to Symbols. In this lesson, we're going to be going from written words into mathematical symbols.
Our initial definitions are the result of when you do a certain operation. So it's the answer that you get when you do a certain operation. So the answer that you get when you are adding numbers together is called the sum. The difference is the answer that you get, the result of the operation of subtraction. The product is the result of multiplication, and the quotient is the answer that you get when you are dividing two numbers. Now I'd like you to do a little brainstorming. I'd like you to come up with as many words that you can think of for this initial symbol, the one on the left. So I'd like you to pause the video and write down as many possible words that you can think of when you see that symbol. All right, let's take a look at the list I've come up with. So take a look at these words and pause the video again and write down any on your paper that you did not manage to list the first time. Once you're done, try it again with the other symbol, the symbol on the right. How many words can you think of, especially now that you see some more for the plus symbol, that you can think of for that other symbol? So pause the video, write down as many of you as you can, and then start it up again and take a look at what I've got. All right, here are the words that go along with the minus symbol. Again, pause the video and write down any that you did not manage to include on your list. Let's try it again with two more symbols. Take a look at the one on the left, pause the video, write your list. All right, here's what we've got. Try it again with the other symbol. All right, that division symbol. Here's what we've got for that. So complete your list. This will be like a little reference on your note sheet for all the connections that we make to those. One more symbol. What do you think of when you see that one? Here are a number of ways that you can represent that equal sign. All right, now we're going to do some translating of expressions. First, we want to think. 2 less than 8. How could we write that? Well, there's been some suggestions that we could write it 8 minus 2. We could write it 2 minus 8. So let's just think about it for a minute. What is 2 less than 8? 2 less than 8 is 6, right? So let's think about 8 minus 2 and 2 minus 8. Which of those are equivalent to 6? 8 minus 2 equals 6, but 2 minus 8 is not. So you can see here that when you're talking about less than something, it means that we're subtracting that value from the first. And it's important to realize that order makes a big difference. So when I say 2 less than 8, I know that I'm going to start with the 8 and take the 2 away from that to subtract the 2 from it. Let's think about 2 more than 8. Let's try the 8 plus 2 and the 2 plus 8 and see which of these works. So what is 2 more than 8? Well, 2 more than 8 is 10. Which of those end up equaling 10? Well, they both do. So when it comes to going more than something, it doesn't matter what order you do. Personally, I like to always start with that second value and then either add or subtract the more than or the less than value from it, and then I know I'll always get it in the right order. Whoops, I see my is already circled. That's an error, but that's okay. So what we need to do now is talk about the difference between greater than and is greater than. So if we want to write down the expression, a number is greater than 3, we've really got to focus on that word is. If you recall, that was one of the words we listed when we were talking about an equal sign. But in this case, we've got is greater than. That indicates the inequality symbol. And so we are going to write a number is greater than 3 using that inequality symbol. In the second example, 3 greater than a number. We just have the phrase greater than without an is. So without the is, we're not talking about the inequality symbol. There we're talking about a number and then 3 greater than that number, so that would be adding 3 to it. So that's a pretty subtle difference, but it's an important one to understand to translate things properly. All right, so here we're going to go with our expressions, equations, and inequalities. Example 1, 5 less than 6 times a number. So I see 5 less than, I know I'm going to be subtracting 5 from something. Well, what am I subtracting it from? I'm subtracting it from 6 times a number. So my answer is going to be 6 times a number, and then I'm subtracting 5 from it. Example 2, 2 more than. So as soon as I see that, 2 more than, I know I'm going to be adding 2 to something. So I'm going to have plus 2 at the end of my expression. And it says 2 more than the quotient of 4 and a number. So I know it's going to be adding 2 to the quotient. That tells me division. And I'm going to show my division in a fraction by putting the quotient of 4 in a number as 4 divided by that number. And I put it in the order that it comes. And then there's my 2 more than. And then it says is 8. So the is my equal sign. So 2 more than the quotient of 4 in a number comes before the word is, so I know that's on the left of my equal sign. And the only thing after the word is the number 8, and so I know that goes on the right of the equal sign. Example 3, the difference of a number and 8 is less than 19. So I see the difference of, and I know I'm talking about subtraction. So in this case, it's important to go in order of what it tells you. The difference of a number and 8 means we're going to start with the number and subtract 8. And then it says is less than, and I know that's my inequality symbol, 19. So there's the difference of a number. Now here I'm using a different variable. It doesn't matter what variable you choose. We're just using a variable to represent a number. We don't know what number it is, and so we're using a variable to represent that, and you can use any letter that you'd like. The difference of a number and 8, and so that tells me I'm going to take 8, I'm going to take a number and then subtract 8, is less than 19. All right, 3 times the total of 10 and a number is 42. 3 times something, and what am I multiplying it by? That's what tells me multiplying. So what am I multiplying? I'm multiplying by the total of 10 and a number. So what that tells me is that the whole sum of 10 and a number, the whole total added together, has to be multiplied by 3. So to show that, it's important that I use parentheses. I've got to take the entire 10 plus x, 10 plus a number, and multiply all that by 3. So I put parentheses to show it's all being multiplied by 3. And then it says is 42. So is my equal sign. 42 is the only thing that comes after the word is, so it's the only thing on the right. All right, 5a. Twice a number subtracted by 6 is greater than or equal to the sum of the number and 5. Now we're going to look at, oh, then it says 5a again. That was supposed to say 5b. All right. But let's take a look at the bottom one. There's only one little thing that's different about that. Twice a number subtracted from 6 is greater than or equal to the sum of the number and 5. So the first one says by 6 and the second one says from 6. So let's take a look at what those look like. Twice a number subtracted by 6 means you are taking 6 away from twice the number. And then it says is greater than or equal to the sum, which means addition, of the number and 5. The next case, our second 5a, it says twice a number subtracted from 6 instead of by 6. And so that means we're going to have twice our number. That is the thing that's being subtracted from the 6 is greater than or equal to the sum of a number and 5.
Okay, now it's time for you to give it a try. Go ahead and pause the video and do problems 1 through 8. See how you do. Restart the video when you're ready to check your work. All right, let's take a look. The product of 2 and a number increased by 8. So we know product means multiplication. So we want to write the 2 right up next to the n as a coefficient, because that coefficient means that it's being multiplied. And then we're going to increase it by 8, so adding 8 to it. Now you can see that you could have written 8 plus 2n, because the order doesn't matter with addition. Number 2, the difference of a number and 3 is 14. Difference means subtraction of the number and 3 means you write it in the order with the variable first and then subtracting the 3. Is our equal sign, 14. The order does matter. If you wrote 3 minus x, you need to fix it and put it back to x minus 3. 18 is less than. You see that is less than, that means the inequality symbol, a number divided by 4. Now remember, we want to show division as a fraction, not with the division symbol. So if you wrote it with the division symbol, go ahead and fix it and change it into a fraction. This one looks very similar, 18 less than a number divided by 4, but what's missing is the is. So when it's 18 less than, that means subtracting 18. Without the is, it means subtraction. And remember, order does matter. All right, number 5. Total of a number. Total means addition. So the total of a number in 7 is greater than 11. So there's our adding is greater than 11. Now, in this case, the 7 plus x and the x plus 7 can be written in either order. The quotient of 9 in a number plus 13. You see there's no equality or inequality symbol in there, so we know it's just an expression. Quotient means division, so we're going to have 9 divided by some number with 13 added to it. Now remember, you can use whatever variable you'd like. If you used an n or an a or an x, it doesn't matter. All right, the sum of 9 and 3 times a number is equal to 26. It reads just like looks in words as it does in the symbols. And then the last one is 3 times the sum of 9 and a number. Now this is a little tricky. It's 3 times the entire sum, so that means we're taking the sum of 9 and a number and multiplying the whole thing by 3, so we've got to make sure to have parentheses in there. Make sure that your answer looks just like that. That's it. Put your note sheet in your binder. I'll see you tomorrow.